Hello.
Recording in progress. Changed up. The voice changed her prompt.
Yeah, it's not. This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, happy Friday, y'all. How you doing, Sarah?
Oh, pretty good. I'm a little bit scattered this morning, but that's pretty normal for me.
Why are you scattered?
I don't have a reason. Do I have to have a reason? I'm just scattered.
Hey, Morgan. Hey, Lacey.
Hi, friends. People are filtering in. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Kels. Good seeing you again. It's the end of the week, end of a short week.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Morgan?
Hi. Hey, everyone. Good to see you guys.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
Happy Friday.
Thanks, you too.
I got up way too early for a meeting and I didn't want to be on camera, but I don't want to be antisocial either. So here I am. I'll just say hi and introduce myself. I'm happy to be here for the first time with you guys.
Oh, welcome. Thanks for showing up. Even if you don't feel like it.
Well, I did feel like going to the meeting, not being on camera. I was like, okay, maybe I can just listen in and not be on camera. But since it was just a few of us, I was like, at least I should say hi. So nice to be with you.
We're all friends here. We're all friends here.
This is a great way to see who's who and meet people.
Right.
Is it Lacey? Is that?
Yeah, Lacey.
Okay. Where are you calling from, Lacey?
I'm calling from Portland, Oregon.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. All right. Same time zone, 9:30.
Yeah. 9:30.
Not too early.
No, it was actually pretty good.
Nice. Hey, Kat. Hey, Rachel.
Morning. Hi, Lacey. Nice to meet you. I'm
nice meeting you.
Idaho.
Oh, nice meeting you too.
Yeah. So it's the end of the week, end of a short week. I assume most of us had Monday off.
Yes.
I had an adventure last night.
Oh boy.
We've been seeing evidence of a mouse in the house and trying to, like all week, cleaning out little corners of the house and trying to figure out where, or, if it's nesting in the house or how it's getting in or whatever. And we've also been investigating different ways to catch it, trap it, whatever. And we got these live traps that catch it alive. And so last night, we've been leaving out the traps with like peanut butter or cheese or whatever. And the mouse somehow eats the peanut butter or the treat that we leave and doesn't set the trap. So it's been sort of a battle of wits all week. But last night we finally caught it. And it was just after everyone had kind of gone to bed, but, still looking at our screens because we're terrible people. And then in the night, in the darkness, like 11 p.m., I just heard this, which is the spring door of the trap closing coming from the kitchen. And so we got up and put shoes on, put a sweater on, and went and gathered up the little mouse. And he's just sitting there, and it was really cute.
Oh.
He's just kind of looking at us, and I'm like, I know this wasn't what you planned, buddy. Sorry. And we just took it out to an uninhabited area, like not too far away, like half a mile down the road, and let him out near the pond with all the frogs and all the chirping crickets. And it was just, you can go free into the wild, little buddy. Good luck to you.
She caught a mouse last night too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's not quite as kind to them.
Oh, buddy. No, I feel really bad, but I'm glad that we didn't chop his head off.
Yeah, it's amazing how much damage those creatures can do, though, because we once had a mouse infestation and they got into the garage, into both of our cars, and managed to do damage to both of our cars.
Wow.
That cost us thousands of dollars, like in terms of wiring and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. not great. The first indication that we had a mouse in the house was somehow it had gotten into the bathroom drawer where we keep Q-tips and cotton balls. And it had just had like a smorgasbord of nesting materials.
Nesting material, yes. Softest. It was organic cotton, right, Sarah?
I've been trying to use the last swab for cotton for Q-tips.
Yep.
And then I have that same brand, that same company has these like round pads.
Rounds. Yep. I've got a bunch of those.
Face toner and stuff. So I'm transitioning to those, but there was still a lot of leftover cotton swabs in the drawer.
Yeah, I have before I got the last round ones, I had done a Costco run, so I still have millions of cotton rounds.
Mouse nesting materials.
Yes, mouse nesting material. I should just put it outside.
Right. There you go.
We've got some more people joining.
Yeah.
Good morning, Erica and Rachel. Rachel, of course.
Hello. I think Erica, you were here last week, right? Or am I imagining things?
I'm not sure. I don't think last week, but I was here before for another one of these.
So I have no sense of time, so I just
that's okay.
For anything that was in the past, I was like, that was last week, right?
Yeah, I just know because last week I was out of town for the 4th. So
oh yeah, cool. Did you go anywhere fun?
Yeah, so I live in Cleveland, Ohio, but my family is from Chautauqua County, New York. So we were at our lake house, just doing the whole campfire thing. It was fun, and my father actually just inherited his parents' lake house, and so we were kind of cleaning it out too and making it our own. So it was kind of fun. A lot of work, but fun.
Yeah.
I used to teach for a semester, Erica. I taught at SUNY Fredonia.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
God, I'm trying to think if that's where my cousin teaches. Mitchell Paternity. No.
This was 10 years ago. So
yeah, well.
Only for a semester. But
yeah.
It was an interesting experience. I'd never been in a college town. My college was kind of an urban college, in a big city, but that was like town, college, and that's it.
Yeah, it is such a different area. It's like culture shock coming from Cleveland a little bit, just because like the same things are not available to you and things shut down earlier. And my husband is completely plant-based, and finding restaurants for him are like, that's just ridiculous in that area. So
one day it'll be easy.
Yeah.
I predict one day. Lisa, I want to put you on the spot since it's your first time.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find out about climate designers? And also welcome.
Thank you so much. I found out about climate designers through AIGA, I believe. And then I found it really interesting right away and wanted to be part of it. But it just took me a little bit. I've been a member for a little while, and this is the first time I joined. If you want to know a little bit about me, I work for a very large company, for Siemens. And so internally, I wanted to do something as independent, like not as part of the company, but just independent, and had a few ideas. And that really is why I joined. And then as I was working through them, I thought, well, if I work for a large company, maybe I also use that to have more impact, because I have more reach inside of the company than just me, And so I'm trying to kind of juggle both things of what I can do to support sustainability, both as an individual and inside the company.
Perfect. I think that's a great reasoning that a lot of people in this community miss is, just because you work for a big company doesn't mean that you can't be a climate designer. It actually means you might be able to make an even bigger impact. So
that's what I felt, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to put out this website and this newsletter, and then I have an audience of how many, like very limited, right? And like just me. But I was like, oh gosh, well, inside of the company, it's huge, right? It can, and it can impact so many people. So I felt almost like a responsibility to work on that angle even before my own, because like I said, the point is not to have my own thing. The point is to have an impact on these topics and make some progress. So anyway, so at the same time, it just happened that there really wasn't a big conversation in the company about sustainability, and all that started shifting. And so it was like a great opportunity for me to just be there, right, and learn more about it and try to do something. And so that's why I'm here.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have members from all walks of life, independents to working at small studios to working in these large companies. And we're not suggesting that all of them quit their 9 to 5 and work on climate 100%. If you're able to do that, awesome. We understand that that's not, viable for a lot of people. And so, what can you do within a large company to move the needle? And we would love to figure out ways to support people like you, Lacey, in terms of
thank you.
Walking into these bigger companies and saying, hey, we can do more than just recycle our office paper,
Exactly.
And one of the things that Sarah and I are just starting to do now, and something that we're really excited about, is actually producing training sessions for designers that are either working in small studios or large companies. And we've mentioned this once or twice on Coffee Break before, so this isn't anything new, but what could we do as people going into these, in your case, large companies, and training them to become climate designers? What are the things that we need to focus on? And so what we're trying to do is create a kind of a foundation first for all designers that are working 9 to 5, no matter where they are. And then from there, we can customize these sessions based on the type of company, what they do, the types of designers, things like that. So stay tuned. We're in the middle of creating that. It's not a course, but more or less an offering. So
that would be amazing. Yeah.
Workshops for in-house designers and companies.
That's really cool too, because it kind of creates a baseline of like, this is where you can start. And it feels so daunting to kind of like get into climate design, but like if you have a workshop where you're like, all right, you can take this, just start here, and then from there find your own niche within climate design. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it can be really huge because there's a lot of niches within design and there's a lot of niches within climate, and it's like, how do you break that down?
Right.
Where do you start?
I would also suggest, just from my perspective, okay, like say if I look at a company, there are not a lot of designers. So if you were going to target the designers in your company, there would be very few of us. But if you just targeted just sustainability in the company, I know that there would be so much support for it. And I'll tell you, one of the things that we do, I don't do it, but there's called executive profiles or something like that. And so each month they go and interview somebody. The person they interviewed this month was a guy who's in charge of simulation. And so simulation is huge because instead of creating prototypes, well, then you simulate them, right? And then there's a lot of this energy producing the stuff and this waste. And so he said in his profile that he's super interested in sustainability and all that. He's an engineer. He does not consider himself a designer, but he's super interested in that. So just my suggestion would be to expand the definition of who you're supporting in this. At least one of the niches is just everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That's interesting. I'll definitely think about that for sure.
Yeah.
We often expand to creatives, like especially in marketing, because it definitely overlaps and they work with designers really closely to create the brand. And sometimes there's a lot of demand for making that brand appear sustainable. And we're like, well, how can you make it actually sustainable?
Yes.
So working with the people who are, marketing the brand can be a way to expand to not just designers. But we've definitely heard a lot of people saying like there should be climate engineers too, and I'm like, great. If you're an engineer,
there
start one.
really
Like, we
is.
want to talk to the people that we know.
Yeah. Well, if you do that, I mean, that's something that I could really support, because I work with engineers all the time.
Are they software engineers or hardware?
Well, I work in, just to give you a couple of things, because Siemens is an absolutely huge company. So there's the huge company. And then there's one part that's called digital industries. Within digital industries, there's software. And I work in software. That's the part where I am. So there's a lot of engineers. For example, like I said, simulation is huge, right? Because that's a part that really affects sustainability. And so, a lot of marketing people and a lot of engineers that do digital transformation, basically. I don't want to get too technical, but that's basically it.
Sounds really cool.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, if you get to that, and I can support in any way to educate, I would love that.
Awesome. Yeah, we might reach out.
Yeah, we're finishing up some of the V1 collateral, so maybe we can get your eyeballs on it to provide some feedback.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Rachel. Thanks for joining.
Hey, sorry. I thought I RSVP'd online, but I guess I just put it in my calendar and I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that happens.
How are you all?
Glad you made it in.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel, where are you located? Where are you based out of?
I'm in New York right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm on the East Coast. So it's like lunchtime for me. I have my toast next to me that I'm eating for lunch. It's good. So what are some other projects that people are working on? What are some things that are happening in your guys' like careers and stuff?
Rachael Gula has been on a big adventure recently. I want to hear all about that. Are you home now?
I am. Yeah, I'm back in Silver Lake, back in LA. I was in Washington, D.C. for about 10 days protesting with the Sunrise Movement and with Indigenous Rising. It was incredible. I've spent the last week now healing from like a head cold. So I've been resting, but also like processing everything that happened. We shut down the White House 2 days at all 10 barricades. I was frontline in the marching band, so I got to play the bucket drum, and we definitely brought the hype through music and through art. So yeah, reflecting on everything that happened, it's interesting to take what I've learned and experienced and pivot into this space of intertwining climate designers and sunrise and my own personal journey. So I wrote this blurb last night, basically intertwining climate designers' North Star of what if every designer were a climate designer, also with the CCC and the Green New Deal. So there's, an army of young people seeking a life purpose, seeking a meaningful career. And I think it's interesting if we take that question of what if every designer were a climate designer, and like Lisi was saying, what if we broaden that term of like designer to expand to other types of creative professionals or be really inclusive about it. And I think it's really powerful to think about the possibilities of all these jobs that people could have. So I'm really jazzed. John V and I are starting this new segment-based project. And a lot of it is connecting with people and hearing about their own personal journey. And it's great. Like after this DC trip, I feel like I've gotten a lot of clarity with the direction and the angle and especially the messaging. So yeah, I'm working on compiling a video project to go alongside with that. I wrote a song in DC about the Green New Deal. So I just feel really energized and excited going forward.
I love your energy, and you're just such a creative person. And I love how, this experience is being channeled into creative projects. It's amazing.
Yay. Thank you.
Yeah, very exciting.
So what is your project? Like, what are you working on with your partner?
Yeah, so John V and I, we are developing a segment that is starting out on Instagram Live, essentially, as like our main platform. And essentially, it'll be interviewing people monthly. And through that interview, really getting down to their own journey, but not just like what they're doing now, but maybe the angle of how they turn their career into a climate-based career, or the struggles they've gone through, basically what makes them human, getting like down to the real talk. And with that, we envision taking the interview and translating that into different mediums, like a podcast. Another discussion would be like a YouTube video. So it's really to highlight designers that are already in our community, as well as invite more people to join and really encourage them to join the Mighty Network platform to encourage creative collaboration.
Yeah, you and John V basically met through the Mighty Network platform, right?
Yeah, we met through the party program, through the summit.
Right.
Yeah,
cool.
So it's interesting to reflect on all of these serendipitous relationships and connections. And, I found out about Sunrise, for instance, by talking to a climate designer, actually. So all these things are, they're lining up, but what it comes down to is that human connection and hearing other people's stories.
And I'll call out too, you and John V reached out, basically pitched your idea to us. And so this is an example of something that we are wanting to explore. And maybe this is a good opportunity to share this with all of you here and also watching, where, and we've said this many, many times in the past, this is not the Mark and Sarah show. We don't want it to be the Mark and Sarah show. We invite people to, show up and to help us build out climate designers in whatever form that they think is best, and whatever form that we think would achieve what Rachel just mentioned, this idea of what if every designer were a climate designer. And so we're kind of, a part of climate designers could be kind of this accelerator program where, say, Erica, you come to us with an idea, hey, this is something that I feel is missing within the community. Could I spearhead this initiative? And Sarah and I, with our background, with our studio and us teaching, we can provide support for Erica and perhaps a small team that Erica puts together to put this idea in motion and to have that be, part of this larger climate designers initiative. So Rachel and John V pitched this idea. And so we're working with them on developing, a business model, value proposition, all that stuff, and treat it like it's kind of like a startup, and hoping to use climate designers as the backdrop to launch these things. So if any of you all have any ideas, what are we not doing? What's missing? Sarah and I have our laundry list of ideas ourselves that we can either give people, or do it ourselves. We just don't have the bandwidth, running the studio and teaching part-time too. It's a lot on our plate. But yeah, so if any of you have any ideas on anything to just get the word out, to build out the community, to really achieve that goal of having every designer be a climate designer. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we're encouraging everybody with these projects, like Mark said, to have a business model and bring in revenue. And, a typical accelerator will take a percentage of that. So we're still figuring out what that looks like, but part of that revenue would go back to the organization to just keep things running in exchange for our mentorship and guidance and helping you figure it out and kind of building this thing out into something bigger than it probably would have been if you'd just done it on your own. So we're hoping to create a sustainable business model where the organization can stay afloat and these different projects can actually pay you for your hard work. Because I actually kind of don't believe in the nonprofit business model where volunteers just get exploited and their labor just kind of goes to goodwill, but nobody pays them for it. I'm like, we still need to pay the rent and all that stuff.
So the business model that we are exploring is the cooperative model, the co-op model. So we're doing our due diligence, our research, figuring out what that looks like. So if any of you are experts or know people that are experts in the co-op model, let us know too. We have a few people that we've been talking to, but we're also kind of figuring this out as we go.
Yeah, it seems like there aren't any experts in the co-op model yet. So everyone's just kind of figuring it out. But I like the concept, and maybe we'll do a trial and error and figure out what we're doing through some mistakes and learning the hard way, but we'll figure it out.
Building the bike as we ride it.
Exactly. Always. So it's a bit of a startup mentality. Hopefully we don't move too fast and break too many things. So yeah, if anybody has a project that they're really passionate about and could use some support, let us know, and maybe we'll help you shape it into something that benefits everyone, including you. That's the goal.
I'm curious what Rachel Celanese is up to. Hey.
I have been just volunteering on my days off. I found 2 places that I enjoy spending my time. One is a food forest in Altadena that this guy started in his friend's parents' backyard because he wanted the community to be more resilient and learn how to like grow food and stuff himself. Here, I'll find it was like all these places that I followed on Instagram, and now that like I'm vaccinated and I feel safer like going out around strangers, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like spend some time doing this stuff. It's the Aquaba Food Forest.
I really want to know all about the food forest. I'm serious.
It's just like a more natural way of growing food, like, instead of like the agricultural systems or like the perfectly, curated gardens that we're used to. It's like you've got fruit trees and then the beans are growing up the fruit tree and everything has this symbiotic relationship that kind of helps each other.
So cool.
Yeah.
Where is it located?
It's in Altadena, like just past Pasadena. And then the other place that I volunteered is the HOFOCO, the Hollywood Food Coalition. So a friend of mine was doing like make little like sack lunches for a homeless outreach program. And then when I went onto their website, I saw that they had all these other programs that they do. And one of them is called The Exchange. And so like, I got really excited because that's like the thing that I want more of, like an actual system that's in place to deal with food waste and rescuing food that would otherwise be thrown into a landfill. So places like Whole Foods and like Tartine and all these fancy restaurants and farmers markets give their leftover food to the Exchange, and then they're this central hub in Hollywood that has this amazing inventory. Like they're really great with their supply and demand and like tracking everything. And all of these different nonprofits, homeless outreach, different organizations all across LA can check out the inventory, place their order. And then I was like spending the day like in the fridge, like, okay, 3 boxes of zucchini, like 2 boxes of tomatoes, like 78 boxes of rice, and like getting their orders ready for them. And so I'm so happy when it's something that looks like a new system of approaching things, like instead of just like one person doing this. Or there was an older woman there who volunteers every Friday because I think she's retired, and she's like, I've worked at the LA Food Bank and this place and this place and this place, and they go out and buy food or do donation drives. And what she likes about this is that it saves things from going to the landfill that definitely don't need to. So
that's so cool. Rachel, would you be willing to chat with one of our student groups? Sure. We have we're teaching a class on social entrepreneurship, and one of the groups right now is trying to tackle the food waste problem, and they're approaching it from a very individual level, and I think having some insight into the Exchange might help them think a little bit bigger into the more systemic solutions that can happen. But we can talk about that later. It is the top of the hour. So with that, if anyone has anything else that they want to share, otherwise we will say thank you. This half hour went by so fast. Thank you all for joining. And I just love the opportunity to see you every week and catch up on what everybody's working on and get to know new people. And it's really great.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice seeing everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a great Friday and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.